So today in this video we'll be deep diving into the different types of data architectures that we might have heard. We might have heard about RDBMS, we might have heard about data lakes, data warehouses, then delta lakes, then all those kind of open table formats. We'll be talking in detail what are the differences between these things, and after this particular video you will be a person who can just differentiate between all those kind of things, and you will be interview ready also, because in interviews also it is asked too much. So that also we'll be talking. I have a pen tablet with me, so I'll be explaining you everything each one by one, and with differences also. What are the major advantages, disadvantages of the things, and what are the limitations of the things, that also, and why these things were introduced before कि हाँ जब we were having the traditional databases, then why data warehouses were introduced. That all things also we'll be talking about. So let's go to the screen and let's talk about who am I to guide you. Hi, my name is Anurag Shrivastava. I am a senior data engineer working at a remote company, and I am also a Databricks certified professional data engineer, so I can give you that class. Yes, I have been working in this field for about past 5 years, so yes, I can guide you on that particular part. So let's start with the things. So the very first concept that we'll be talking about, that is RDBMS. RDBMS you might have heard about. RDBMS, that is a relational database management system. That is the traditional way, you might have heard about this particular term in the schools, colleges, and this is the main thing. And see, everything is very similar, but what are the there are some advantages and how the data is getting stored, and what are the principles that are getting added, that are a bit different. Okay, we'll be talking about that thing also. So it is called as a relational database management system. So this is majorly for what is the use case of it. So majorly whenever people will talk about 2-3 things, that is major things, that is basically when the people will talk about first thing, that is your transactional system. Then you will hear about this particular term, that is RDBMS. Then people will talk about transactional systems like banks, e-commerce, checkout, inventory, these kind of things. There you will be hearing about the RDBMS. And one more term will come to your this thing, that is OLTP, online transactional processing. Very, very, very important. OLTP. This term is very, very important, and this makes the major difference. And this is a major thing that decides what is the use case, what will be the use case, and what kind of systems you will be using. That is online transactional processing. That is the main thing. Okay. Next thing is basically it is a row based and normalized tables, like storage is how it is being done. It is a row based thing. Okay. Rows and columns where data is divided, and directly you can use directly query on that, directly do a select star and directly select the data and get the data. So basically that is also one thing. Next thing is basically schema on write. There is a system called as schema on write. You can also basically, it is called as schema on write. Next thing is basically that is asset properties. Asset properties are the things that decides whether your particular system will be transactions will be also imported or not. Basically let me tell you about that thing also. Basically, if we talk about that particular part here, okay, that is called as this thing, ACID. What is ACID? Basically, A stands for atomicity. How your basically your one transaction, one step should be atomic. When one step pass, then only second step should go. Next thing is basically consistency. There should be consistency in the steps and the transactions that is happening. That is whether you go to a bank, basically you just see when we keep our card inside, then only money comes. If any of the step fails, that means the whole process, the whole transaction is a failure. So similarly, that is the thing. Next thing is isolation. Isolation is a term basically that every step should be independent. Every step should be independent and isolated, not independent, isolated basically. Next thing is durability. Durability means that no step should fail because of any other step, kind of something like that. That is called a durability. And you might heard about different examples. If we talk about different example of the softwares that you might have heard about, MySQL. Okay, then we talk about PostgreSQL. Then we talk about this thing, that is SQL Server. Oracle you might have heard about. These are the several examples that are built on top of SQL and directly uses that particular thing. Okay, so this was the concept of RDBMS. Next, let's talk about basically, before going further, I would like to just give you a glance of my particular bootcamp. So before moving forward, I'll just give you a we have a bootcamp, that is if you want to learn about data engineering from scratch, you are a fresher, you are a person from support, want to get into data engineering, get into high paying job. So basically data engineering bootcamp we have DataX, it is called as DataX end-to-end data engineering bootcamp. So basically end-to-end, why we say it as end-to-end, because from zero you learn everything and you go to, like, you will be ready for a job ready data engineer. We teach everything very practically. Many projects are there. We have projects are there on Databricks, projects are there in Azure cloud. Then we have talked about right now a project we are running that is on GCP cloud. So basically different kinds of tools also we are exploring, and different kinds of technologies also we are exploring, but from the scratch we do all those things. So definitely if you want to it is one of the most affordable, so directly you can see and directly enroll into that is your thing. Link is in the description, directly you can just explore and see. Next thing, let's talk about data warehouses. Data warehouses are also very important. What is a data warehouse? Data warehouse is a system, basically it is a centralized system, okay, and majorly data warehouse, as the name suggests, it is a kind of a warehouse where all those kind of historical loads, all those kind of analytics data, different kinds of reporting, if you want to do any kind of dashboards, Power BI dashboarding you want to do, that all things are done on a warehouse. So these are the use cases. Okay, I talked about the use cases of the thing. Historical data, you are not deleting anything, you are keeping the historical data, okay, doing some analytics on top of that. So these are the use cases, or you are making some dashboards on the top of that, on the top of your particular this thing. So basically these are the use cases that you can think about, and directly you can just talk about that particular thing. Okay, so this is also one of the thing. Other than that, basically let's talk about basically what are the other advantages and how it is different from, firstly how it is different from our RDBMS traditional database and what it is. So basically we understood that basically different type of data is there, and historical load, all those kind of analytics if you want to do, all those kind of dashboards if you want to build. So everything can be done on a data warehouse. Next thing is basically your processing type. In RDBMS it was OLTP, but in this data warehouse the processing type is basically OLAP, online analytical processing. Okay, analytical processing, that is a major difference. Analytical processing, because this system is built for what? For analytics only, for doing analytics, for making some sort of dashboard, taking the business decisions. Because of that only we have built this particular thing. Okay, so that is very important to understand. Next thing is basically what is a storage type? Storage type, it is a row based, very similar like if you see a table in RDBMS and a data warehouse, it is very similar, very structured rows and columns, the tables will be made. It is in row based, it is a row based storage. So it is a row based storage, basically in rows and columns the data is getting stored, and directly you can do your kind of, you can run an analytics query, you can do some kind of like a data analyst will directly go and work on the top of that data warehouses only, and they will get the business records and directly they can take the decisions and all these kind of things are done. Next thing is basically it is a denormalized schema. Denormalize and normalization, it is a proper topic, but try to understand basically the data is denormalized. Okay, denormalized in RDBMS we try to make the table normalized in a normalized system. Okay, so that is also a very important term. Next thing is basically how it is different from RDBMS. Okay, these 2 points we understood, how data is getting stored, and also how basically it is denormalized and normalized, we understood that part also. Now let's understand about one thing, that is basically your this particular term, that is your we talk about compliance. It is like performance if we talk, but not about compliance. Performance means, as it is a data warehouse, the volume of the data will be very huge volume. Okay, terabytes and terabytes of data will be there, huge volume of data. huge volume of data will be there. So basically we'll be needing something ki, this is how analytics system is built, and directly here if we talk about that particular thing, so basically here already that particular type of system is there, and directly they can do fast reads on the analytical workloads. Kitna bhi bada, like about 1 terabyte, 2 terabytes of table is there, so fast querying, fast retrieval of the data is done. Okay, there will be no issues in this because the OLAP system is built on top, in that fashion. Okay, that is the difference between the OLAP and OLTP system. Try to understand that also. Okay, it is very, very important. Next thing is basically your limitation. What will the limitation? Limitation will be your cost will be very high. Okay, if we talk about cost will be very high. Okay, cost high. Limitation क्या होंगे? If we talk about cost will be high cost will be high. Next thing is basically not suitable for real time streaming if you want to do, ठीक है, or raw data if you want to save. It is not good for that. Real time streaming भी नहीं कर सकते हो. Next thing, raw data if you want to store, raw data, pure raw data, PDFs if you want to store, only images you want to store, you want to process images and all. That is not ideal for that. It is ideal for what kind of data? Proper data, and refined data should be kept here. So that is the meaning of a data warehouse. Let's talk about a data lake now. So a data lake is basically, first let's understand about the differences, and we'll be also talking about the previous two terms also, how data is different from RDBMS and data warehouse. It is very simple. Firstly, okay, what is a data lake? Data lake is very, very simple topic. Basically data lake is something that is also called as a object storage. Okay, object storage in a very straightforward thing. That means basically कि you can ingest any type of data, like in किसी भी type of any type of raw data, you can pick any type of ingest raw data you can put in, or you can put in semi-structured data, or you can put in unstructured data also. If you want to push any files, any logs, any images, any JSON files, anything can be pushed. Okay, unstructured, any type of data if you want to push in, all things can be done on a data lake. That's why it is called as a object storage. Any type of data you want to process or you want to keep here, so here it can be done. That is very, very important to understand. Next thing is basically what is the use case of it. Okay, what is the use case of it? Main thing and how it is different. Basically you just understood कि हाँ RDBMS में structured data था and row based data column were there, and similarly in the data warehouse also row based thing was there. But here it is not there. It is a raw data where you are keeping the things, and it is not designed for real time querying. Like you cannot just go and do a select star on that. It cannot be done. It cannot be done because it is not built for that. Okay, it is not designed for real time querying. Next thing is basically storage. What is a storage? Like you might have heard about storage, object storage it is called as. You might have heard about S3, you might have heard about GCS, Google Cloud Storage, you might have heard about Azure Blob. Okay, so these all type of storages are called as data lake storages in different clouds. Like in Amazon has at AWS S3, then Google has its Google Cloud storages, then Azure has its own Azure Blob. So basically that is, you might have heard about ADLS Gen 2 also. So basically these are the major differences or the major like how it is different. These two things we understood how it is different. Next thing is asset properties will not be there, and schema on read, like if you want to just put any kind of file, it can be put in, and you should there is no issues or there no problems of how the data will be read. Okay, we don't think about that part of term how the data will be read. Next thing is basically your performance without a compute. It will be slow without a compute engine. Like if you want to process, like if you want to read something, okay, if you want to read something, it will be very slow if you don't use any system or any processing unit, any processing engine like Spark. Okay, it is very, very important to use these kind of engines to read the data in a faster manner. Okay, that is very, very important. Next in limitation is basically that is there will be no governance, there will be no security on this. Data swamp will be there. It will be hard to query without any format enforcement is not there. So very hard to query, hard to find out the things. It is very, very hard. So basically that is how it happens, and it is also used as an intermediate storage. If you want to use this as an intermediate storage, that is how it is used. Next thing, let's talk about one more thing, that is next one, and it is very like it is a modern tech stack that we talk about, that I also teach very in detail, that is called as now DataX. Also it is there. If you want to get enrolled, directly go enroll and learn about data engineering from very scratch, from very zero. That is called as Data Lakehouse. It is a combination of, it is usually called as combination of warehouse plus what? Data lake. Here you can store any type of data. Basically, if you want to store unstructured data, structured data, these all kind of data can be done, and it has a flexibility of data lakes with performance of data warehouses. Okay, you can query on that. You can just do a select star on that, do their analytics query. You can do your analytics workload. You can run. You can make your reports. You can make your dashboards. Any kind of things can be done on a lake house, and it is one of the modern tech stack in data engineering we talk about. And as of now, if you talk about if you want to learn about data lakehouse, basically Databricks is one of them, because it is built on top of a lakehouse. Okay, if you want to store any kind of data, it will be stored in a lakehouse format, that is called as a delta format. Okay, that is very important. It is too depth, but I don't want to give you that particular glimpse, because there are proper classes for it, and you will not understand everything if I talk about these things. I'll just talk about differences in very high level. Okay, so it is a schema on write, and evaluation is also there. What is called as schema on write? Basically, when you will write the data on this, then it will be seeing what type of data it is, and directly give you, plus if in future any new columns came in, any type of columns change, so basically schema evaluation is also there. Evaluation matlab new columns can be added later also. That is also one of the advantages of using this. Next thing, that is a main advantage, that is the asset properties. In data warehouses you have the asset property, but in data lake you don't have it. But in Lakehouse, with the help of this one Lakehouse, you have the visibility of asset properties. Directly you get the asset properties, and it is asset complaint, and it is via what? Via the Iceberg. You might have heard about, via the delta table. We call our delta table plus Iceberg. If you want to use use the functionality of asset, because it is very important for the transactional type of data, so you use like that. Other than that, performance is very good. It is a high throughput thing, and structured queries, plus high throughput and structured queries are given. Next, in limitation, if we talk about the limitation, basically it is still maturing. It is a modern tech stack, but many new things are coming in. It is complex to set up. Firstly, if you want to set up the governance, it is very important. Okay, governance means similarly like security. Basically, security of the data is very important. So it is very complex to set up that particular thing. So proper trained professionals are there, that are data engineers, who are responsible for this thing. And cost monitoring is not there. Basically, you cannot monitor the cost, how much it is getting. Like that is also one of the limitation as of now, as per the date I am shooting the video. So that is the thing. Next thing, we talk about delta tables. Delta tables is a term. Basically, whenever you create any kind of table on a lakehouse, it is termed as a delta table. What is a delta table? Basically, delta table is a type of a table where you store the data in a Parquet format. So whenever a data is getting stored in a delta table, basically a Parquet type of the the table will be stored in a Parquet format, plus it will be having a folder called as delta log, that is responsible for your asset properties. Okay, and that's why whenever you will store a data, make a table in a delta format, these two things are very important. And this also allows many features like asset transaction, time travel. Then we talk about CDFs, capture data frame. This thing CDC means change data capture, change data this thing feed, change data feed can be done on top of this. That are the advantages of delta tables. Other than that, you can upsort, you can merge, delete, you can do time travel, you can do schema enforcement, you can do any kind of history delete, vacuum, optimizations. So many advantages are there of that. So basically that is very important. So this was the main agenda of explaining you this particular thing, and these were the major differences. Also, like if we talk about a very simple sleek, what are the differences and what are the things, basically I'll just showcase you कि हाँ क्या कैसे होता है, and just make a this thing. ठीक है, table out of it. तो I'll just make a table out of it. यहाँ पे just a comparison we'll do. kind of we'll make a table out of it. First thing here we'll call as delta table. Delta means delta lake. Okay, Apache Iceberg is there, Apache Hudi is there. Then we talk about if any kind of like Apache Iceberg you might have heard about, where if asset transactions are also there, schema evaluation are also there, time travels are also there, absurd merge are also there, incremental processings are also there, partition pruning are also there, tooling ecosystem if you want to, multi-agent support you can do, all those kind of things you can do directly. So no need to worry about that particular thing. Other than that, if we talk about, if we compare the tools and all, okay, Apache Iceberg, then we'll talk about Apache Hudi. My writing is not that good, but yes, this is how it looks like. So firstly, if we talk about delta table, asset transactions will be approved. Okay, asset transaction, ACID. In Apache Iceberg also, in Apache Hudi also it will be there. Then next we talk about schema evaluation, SEI, right? Schema evaluation. In schema evaluation also delta tables will be there. In this also Iceberg will be also there, and in this also Apache Hudi will be also there. In time travel, if we talk about time travel, TT time travel, basically in delta tables definitely it is there. In Apache Iceberg also it is there, but in this it is limited. It is not like full-fledged you can do it every time. It is limited. Incremental processing if you want to do in Apache Hudi, it will be best. It will be best if you want to do any kind of incremental processing and all. So these are the advantages and disadvantages of using this thing, and I have also showed you how does the things look like. So this was all about a video. Thank you so much for watching this. And if you want to learn about data engineering from the scratch, if you want to learn about these terms, if you want to understand and clear of the interviews also, this is the best bootcamp that we have right now, and this is most affordable. Directly go in the description, use the link and just get enrolled. Thank you so much. Bye bye.